Probably should add myself to the stage, huh? Hello, everyone. Look, technical difficulties here aside, welcome. Today, I'm going to be looking at the stuff that I bought back from JoeFest and the US. And there's a bit to get through, so I'm going to try and do it in chronological order as I remember it. And yeah, I'll just go over things as I pick them up, and that's it. So without further ado, let's start. So the very first thing, and this was a gift that I was given, was courtesy of my good friend and traveling partner, Ronnie Trickshot. And that is Duke. This is probably the best Duke in the 3 3/4 line. And I don't even like Duke, but I actually like this figure. So that was a nice touch to start the trip as we unpacked in Dallas. Excuse me. Still dealing with this flu, folks. As we unpacked in Dallas, Ronnie lobbed that my way, so that was cool. And, obviously before we got to Augusta, we spent a day or so in Dallas to sort of break the trip up. And that also involved a look around Dallas. We went to Daily Plaza, which I'd been to before many years ago, but Aaron hadn't, which was cool. I bought myself a fridge magnet. It's on the fridge, and it's the newspaper of the day that Kennedy was shot. And yeah, that was a cool experience once again to see it through more of an adult sort of lens, because I went when I was probably 17 or 18, I think in 1995. So yeah, from there we went to Dallas Vintage Toys. Great store. Now, I didn't buy a lot simply because I knew we were going to JoeFest, but I did pick up a couple of things, and I was looking for some Build-A-Figure parts. Excuse me. And I'm sorry about the coughing. There might be some more of that throughout this video. So yeah, apologies. So I was looking for some Build-A-Figure parts, and on their website, they didn't have what I was looking for, but I spoke to the gentleman there. His name was Dorian, and he was a nice bloke. And he said, I've got a whole tub of Build-A-Figure parts that we haven't sorted through yet. You're more than welcome to look through them. And I was like, sounds good, mate. So he brought this whopping great tub over, and we started going through it. And I was looking for 3 parts, and I managed to find 2 or 3. And the 2 that I found was this leg and this head for Armadillo. So we may as well go ahead and put this guy together, because this is something I've been trying to complete for months and months and months and months and months. And now he is complete, which is cool. As I try and get his leg on there, and the other leg falls off, of course. You know what? Let's pop his head on. One thing at a time, Adam. One thing at a time. I'm just going to screw this in here. Oh, there we go. You've got to definitely use a bit of elbow grease when putting these limbs on. And there we have it, folks. My Armadillo is complete. Definitely one of the best Build-A-Figures, in my opinion. My humble opinion. Look at that bad boy. He's a nasty piece of work. But yeah, that was cool to get that done and dusted. And those parts, I think, cost me $5 each. So this part does not want to stay on, though, but that's another story. That's just average Hasbro quality. But that side, I got my Armadillo finished. And that's all I picked up there. Because, the big enchilada we knew was just around the corner. So let's fast forward to JoeFest, shall we? And I have to start at the very start. The first thing that I was pretty much given at JoeFest was this bracelet. And this was a vendor pass that was secured by the good folks at Podcast from the Pit. Casey and Eric, got both your stickers up there now. And I'll talk about this more later. And this was a real boon because it allowed myself and Ronnie to move freely throughout the entire convention all weekend. So yeah, awesome. And Casey and Eric, thank you once again for this because it made life a lot easier. So I will always treasure this, actually, even though it's a little band. Excuse me. So on day one, obviously with that, we were allowed to get in early. We could walk the floor and look around, which is awesome. And, walk straight in to line up for exclusives. And that's where I made my first purchase, maybe my second purchase, actually. And this was the Monster Force exclusive, the JoeFest exclusive, the Eraser. Now he doesn't have his weapons and stuff because they're all over there. And I opened this up before I came back home, so I haven't reviewed it yet, but I might. I don't know. Should I? If you want to see a review, let me know in the comments. So yeah, that was cool. Was able to get that straight off the bat. And another figure that I got immediately once I saw him, I haven't even taken him out of his plastic tray until now. It's the first time I've actually looked at him, and that is Darklon. So this was from Toy Federation. It caught my eye when I did my first walkthrough of the event that they had the whole entire wave, Frag, Viper, Footloose, this guy, and Blowtorch. And stupid me forgot that I had him on pre-order back home because he hadn't released yet here. And I was like, well, I'm buying it. So I bought it. And then I had to scramble to cancel my order, which I did. So first time I'm actually sitting down to look at him. And he is very cool. So this one, like, I've always been a Darklon fan. So this will have a bit more of a special kind of memory for me now, this figure, because I bought it at JoeFest. And it was the first Joe thing that I bought while I was there. So again, haven't reviewed it. Don't know if I will. Most of you guys have probably got Darklon already. So do you want to see another review? I don't know. If you do, again, in the comments, if you're really keen, I might do. I won't. All right. So after that, I've got to try and sort of remember. So we did like a bit of a backtracking here because this is before, I think, the event. We did like I mean myself, Ronnie, Eric, Casey from the Podcast from the Pit, and a bunch of others. Wes, Joe Hunter, Rexship 85, and still a big kid, and yeah. Sorry, guys. We actually did a trip around like the stores, like the comic book toy stores of Augusta, which was cool. Because Casey had his wheels there, so was able to drive us around, which is fantastic. So we went to a big toy store, and right now the name of it escapes me, but I made a purchase, and that was the following. I think it was this. Did I buy these from there? Maybe I'm lying to myself now. No, I think I did. Order of Battle 2, Order of Battle 3, and Order of Battle 4, because I actually don't have these to add to my original Real American Hero run. So I had them as a kid when I first had my Joe comics, but never got them since. And you don't really see them in this kind of condition here, like, often. Like, these are mint, and they were $3 each. Like, that's super cheap. So bought all 4 of those. And while I was there, I purchased another book, and it was this one here, which is the Skybound reprint of issue 21. But then I went and got Larry Hama to sign it. That was cool. But more on that later. So that was the other purchase I made that day. Figure-wise, I don't think I bought anything else, but I did buy some accessories from a place named Top Fun Toys. Now, I just got to pull them out because I've got a bunch of stuff in here, actually. Which is not what I want. And yeah, Top Fun Toys make weapons. Here's their card. Make 6-inch scale weapons as well as 118. So John, who owns and operates that business, has some very cool stuff. And the first thing that caught my eye when I saw his stand was this grenade launcher with the firing accessory. How cool is that? It's probably going to be a bit hard to sort of hold up and see, but yeah, that was an instant purchase. Maybe I'll put it up there. It's better. There we go, Adam. There we go. So yeah, very cool. That comes out. And this will be going to my Gung Ho figure, I think. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And this is my first exposure to his 112 scale weapons. I also got this M203. The grenade doesn't fit this weapon. It doesn't have a port for that. I think it only has. I don't even know if it has a port full stop. I can't even see. I don't think it does, but the lighting here is not good. Put the light on. I'll be able to see a bit better. No, doesn't look like it. That's okay. And he also had like a special going on. So I got some grenades. I got some AKs. I've got a little bit of a bent barrel, I noticed, which isn't great, but fix that, I guess. And I also purchased from him. Where is it? I think it's in here. Yes, it is. Hopefully, it made the trip back from Australia. This is the first time I'm looking at it, and it looks like it did, which is awesome. Bear with me, guys. One of these. How cool is that? So it's a gun storage case. You've just got to get these out because these are basically just in there to keep it sort of propped up. And then you pop these bad boys in there. So this is quite sturdy. The craftsmanship of it's really nice, like a nice sort of etched, burnt in kind of writing on there. Got the little ropes on the side. Very cool. I want a couple more of these. I probably honestly should have bought some more while I was there, but let me tell you, when you're running around a convention, it's hard to keep track of everything and remember, I got to go back here, and yeah, try as you might, you just get distracted and you forget, and that's exactly what happened to Adam. I forgot to go back, but he can be found online, so give him a shout once again. There's a QR code if you want to scan that to get to his socials or his website. So yeah, but yeah, very cool stuff. And John's a really nice guy too. So yeah, support good people, I say. Excuse me. Now, what else? Day one. Okay, so ran into a collector who I befriended prior to going to JoeFest. I knew he was going. We had discussed, meeting up and whatnot, and he'd hooked me up with something that I really wanted prior and was unable to get, and I in turn hooked him up with something which he wanted, and that was the classified breaker figure. But Chris, shout out to Chris, because I'm sure he'll probably see this. He, when I met up with him and his wife, he had this Monster Force Kilowog poster for me that didn't come with my Kilowog, so that was very kind of him to give me one of those. And he gave me the Toylanta Eraser exclusive, which is, much like this guy here. So yeah, that was pretty cool. We ended up just swapping one for one in the end, so I was stoked to get this. So shout out to Chris. He was a nice guy, and I didn't get to spend as much time with him as I would have liked, but there will be another time, I'm sure, another JoeFest. Excuse me. So that's the Monster Force stuff out of the way. I didn't get anything else on that front, but I forget that I did buy one more thing in Dallas, and that was something that I couldn't find easily back home and had wanted for some time, and it was another Marvel Legends piece. And this was mint in box actually when I bought it, but I ripped it out of the box when we were in Augusta to pack it and save space in my suitcase. And that is this Reaver from the X-Men, and that's with this head here, which I feel like I'm going to put on there. Actually, I feel like that'll look better and more comic accurate. Get on there, you bastard. If you're new to the channel and you're checking this out for the first time, thanks for watching. Figured I had to do this. This does not want to go on. Figured I had to do a recap of JoeFest, and I just haven't been well enough to have done it up until this point. So before I go back to work on Wednesday, I was supposed to go back today, but I didn't realize I was actually rostered on. Whoops. Yeah, I figured I'd just get this done today, and this does not want to go on. And, throw it out there for you guys to have a watch. There we go. All right. Now he's looking more like his true Reaver self. So, yeah, it's like $25 or something. It was well worth it. Pop that over there. Sorry, I'm back. I'm a bit all over the place, but it's very hard to remember this whole entire weekend in full chronological order. I didn't keep a journal or anything like that. What else? Let's have a look. And okay, so I brought some comics with me with the intent to have them signed by Larry Hama. That was one of my ultimate goals, and that was being ticked on day one, because I knew that, over the course of the weekend, he was going to be hounded, and by the end of the weekend, he'd be tired of like just talking to people and signing things. So I wanted to get I wanted to meet him as soon as I could and get this out of the way, and just seeing while he's still having a good time, and not drained from everyone asking him questions and busting his chops. So that's exactly what I did. Ronnie and I lined up together, and I pulled out a few comics that I had for him to sign. And obviously, I got that issue 21 signed. But my main goal was to have him sign 3 issues, and the first one I had him sign was this. And as you can see, that's also signed by Mike Zeck. So yeah, iconic Mike Zeck cover. To have both their names on it. Very cool. The next one I had him sign was another iconic Mike Zeck cover, as you can see. 85 on there, which is pretty cool. And that was the second last one. And the last one I had him sign was issue 50, which is also signed by Mike Zeck, and was my very first introduction to the Joe comics. My mum bought me that when I was a wee lad. Not that copy specifically, but a copy of it. And it was, read from cover to cover till the cover was almost falling off that thing. I loved that comic book. And yeah, I was a Joe comic book fan from that day forth. So, yeah, very cool to meet him. He was very gracious. He caught me by surprise with something he said about an Australian TV show, which he enjoyed, called Mr. In Between, which is kind of a black comedy, like crime sort of show, which is really good. Worth your time if you've never seen it. So yeah, that was awesome just to tick that box. He's the sort of person you would love to sit down and talk with nonstop, but also that at that kind of event, he's going to have people on him, so to speak. So yeah, I just got in and got out, got our photos taken with him, which was also quite a buzz, and was on my merry way. Day one, I was moving back and forth from convention to the hotel room, like flying around like a madman. Like I was in warp speed, and I think I was just trying to tick these things off and get them done, so I could just enjoy the event at a bit more of a chilled pace. It's kind of how I operate a little bit. Like I think just how my mind works and how I operate is like get in, get out, so to speak. Not to say that I wasn't in there all weekend, but yeah, just in terms of these sort of big ticket items, I just wanted to tick it off the list. And speaking of like things to tick off the list, like obviously I showed you that armadillo that was on my shopping list. Another Marvel Legend figure that was on my shopping list was this guy, Batroc. He's an older Legends figure. You don't find him like around a lot. Not to say he's rare, but like he's just obviously a character that is obviously popular in the Captain America side of things. So I guess a lot of people hold on to him. But I was walking through the hotel lobby one night, and I think it was all afternoon. This guy was setting up to sell some stuff for the lobby swap. I saw some Marvel Legends, and he caught my eye. I was like, how much is that? And he's like, oh, it's $15. So I was like, sold. So I bought him. Now, he came with this blaster, which I don't think Batroc actually comes with any weapon. I said that to the guy. He's like, oh, you just have it. I'm like, okay. So he didn't know who it's for. I don't know who it's for. If anyone knows who this is for, let me know. I guess I could also just Google Lens it, but yeah, I haven't. And to be honest, I haven't even looked at this stuff really until yesterday when I sort of got it together to do this video. So it's just been sitting here because I've just been too sick. It's been horrible. This flu sucks. One of also first things I was given as well was this Delta 17 lanyard, courtesy of Joe Recondo. Joe and I became fast friends over the course of the convention. Just a legend of a bloke. I had a great time conversing with him, hanging out with him, drinking with him, sitting by the pool and just talking. Yeah, just a great bloke. And Joe, this will hang from my door here next to my new bookshelf wall of fame, so to speak. Go ahead and put that up here. Funnily enough, I've got a couple of other lanyards up here. One of them is, it's missing part of it, but it's a Chicago Bulls one. I had a media pass up there, I think, but I don't know where it's gone. Anyway, so this can go up here on the door handle where it'll stay. Excuse me. But yeah, shout out to Joe. What else? I got a podcast from the pit keyring, courtesy of Casey or Eric. I think it might have been Eric who gave me that. So thank you for that. Stickers. So let's talk about stickers. I got a few. As I mentioned, obviously the podcast from the Pit Boys. I got a couple of those Pug with Toys ones from Lawrence. That one's Daredevil Dave. That one's Oz from Ostradamus Clubhouse. Got the Delta 17 one there, a Monster Force one there. I already had that Gridiron one, but I hadn't stuck it up there. But moving forward, when I attend JoeFest again and I get any further stickers from any fellow YouTubers, collectors, or companies, they're going to go on here. So shout out to the blokes who gave me those stickers, because they're a nice touch, and they're my friends. So yeah, all good blokes. I had a lot of time. Have a lot of time for all those guys, and I had a lot of good times with those guys. So yeah, that's the best thing about JoeFest, is it's just fun hanging out with your mates. Like, it's not all about all this shit and buying stuff. Like, that's just a bonus, because you can find a lot of this stuff online. Sure, there's rare stuff there you'll come across and whatnot, but at the end of the day, JoeFest, the event, is more than just that. You're with, like-minded individuals. You're with people who you've seen online or spoken to all online. You see people, obviously, who you've admired from afar, from your Larry Hammers or Sergeant Slaughters, whatever, to, people you see just on YouTube. So, yeah, that's the real beauty of it. And, even after the event closes for the day and you're just hanging out at the pool or hanging out at the bar or in the lobby, like, it's just a good time. It's just a fantastic time. I'm so glad that Ronnie and I decided to make it happen and surprise the living shit out of a lot of people, except for those who the surprise was ruined for, because Lawrence posted on his Instagram. So anyway, that aside, it's okay. Yeah, just an amazing time. But anyway, back to more of this shit. What else we got? I think everything up there I looked at. So I want to say day 2. Picked up a couple more things. So let's have that. So this stuff here is from Vasco Toys, which make very cool like dio pieces and stuff like that. Again, probably would have liked to have bought more of this stuff, and then I actually did, but they were low and stuff. But I got a couple of wooden pallets. Pretty cool. They're nice and weathered. Got a bit of wear and tear to them, so they'll be going up there in the dio space. That was cool. And from them, I also got a couple of these crates. I don't think the lids come off these, though, do I? I think they're a solid piece. Yeah, they're a solid piece. I think they open up. No, they're glued. So a couple of those were cool. Oops. Pop those up there. I ran into a gentleman who I've only ever sort of dealt with on Instagram. And I've seen him around like in streams and stuff like that. And you might know him as White Mike or White Vegeta. And he was giving out cool shit like this. So this is a little weapons crate. And I think the lid comes off from memory. Pretty sure it does. Am I imagining things? I thought it came off. Yes, it does. Because I've got stuff in here. Oh, there we go. A couple more things I've forgotten about. All right, let me just unpack this, because I've packed this with tissue and stuff. So yeah, this one is made from foam board, and Mike builds all these himself, which is very cool. Again, like, it's got little ropes on it, and there's like, see those little nails in there to keep it together? They're a really nice touch. You can store stuff in there, as I did. So yeah, it's a nice gift from Mike. Give him a follow on Instagram if you're not already. He's a good dude. Now, I guess we can have a look at what's inside here. What is that? All right, so this is a badge. Phantom Core, Monster Force. You got this when you pre-ordered the Phantom Core figure. So I got that. This was cool. This was given to me by Wreckship85, and Ronnie Trickshot got one as well. And these are a little custom bottle of booze, and this one's called Shark Bite. Let's see if I can get that on there. Spin that around a little bit. There we go. So yeah, these are very cool, and these were the labels were done by what's his name? Joe Oscar. Let me have a look. Hang on. Joe. Pretty sure it's Joe Oscar Mike. Yeah, Joe Oscar Mike on Instagram. So I'm pretty sure he made the bottles and Wreckship did the labels or something like that. But yeah, give those guys both a follow. They're good dudes. And yeah, that bottle's awesome. I don't have like a bar die or anything like that, but I'll be giving that to Shipwreck, I think. So yeah, thank you once again for that. What else? That can go there for now. I'm just looking for stuff because I've got stuff a bit spread out all over the place here. Excuse me. All right. Ran into a gentleman by the name of Michael, and you may know him as Plastic Fantastic on YouTube and Instagram. And he had a sort of thing going where if you saw him, went up to him and you said a magic word, which was whirlybird, he would give you one of his fence units that he 3D prints. There's a barbed wire that sits on top of it, and you can attach that together with the little brackets. And he was just giving these out, which is pretty cool. And I believe he also sells these. But yeah, check him out on Instagram if you're interested in this kind of stuff. He also gave me this 3D printed Megatron, which is translucent, which is pretty cool. And a little gauge. What's it called? Not a gauge. It's a spirit level. Little spirit level. It's a bit hard to see in the bag, but that's what it is. So yeah, thank you to Michael. Very kind of you to do that for everyone. And you know, that's like, you know, with Mike and stuff like that. Like guys just making stuff in their own spare time and generously like handing it out to people they meet and stuff like that. Like how cool is that, man? Like that's another part of JoeFest that you don't hear really spoken about a lot, is people like that who take the time to do these things in their own time. Like it doesn't take like 5 minutes to whip these things up, like, you know, at their own cost, and they generously go to JoeFest and hand stuff out. Like that's cool, man. Like, you know, I came with business cards. I probably didn't hand out as many as I should. I didn't have a sticker made, but next time I will. I want to get some good stickers made. So I just ran out of time and money leading up to the event. But yeah, next time, folks. Next time. All right, cool. Fast forward to the next day. One day I sort of lost most of the day because I was hungover as fuck. So I had a late start that day, but I was still able to get a few things. I got around to going to see Dan Klingersmith, and I picked up volumes 7, 9, and 10, and of his Creating G.I. Joe books. If you don't have them, jump on Dan's website and get them, because by August they will be no longer, because Hasbro is ceasing him being able to sell these. So once they're gone, and these things will demand a higher price point than what they're selling for currently on his website. So get in fast. I've told people many times about these books. If you're a Joe fan, if you love the art of Joe, if you love the behind the scenes aspects of Joe, you know, what went into the naming and creating these figures and figures that didn't get created, these books are for you. Don't sleep. I'm telling you. So yeah, Dan, lovely bloke. He probably won't see this, but shout out to you, mate. Thank you for everything you've done for the Joe community with your books. I wish you nothing but well with the sales of your remaining stock. Later that night, helping Steve and Ken and Joe and the Delta 17 boys pack up stuff. I wanted to buy one of these because I missed the opportunity earlier in the day, but Steve said, no, you can have it. So I got the Delta 17 comic, which I look forward to reading. It's very cool. I was given some more 3D printed stuff by my nemesis, as he likes to call himself, Loki, aka Model Misfit on Instagram. So he 3D prints a lot of tactical gear. You know, here's the Cobra Riot Shield, some helmets, caps with comms. So yeah, very cool. So thank you to Loki for that. I'll be putting those to good use. What's this one? I don't even know what that is. I have no idea where this came from, but apparently I own it. What is it? It's like I don't even know where that's from. I have no idea where that's from. Anyway, am I missing anything? I think that's it from JoeFest. Other than this coin that was given to me, this coin was given to me by my good friend Darren, aka 3-Star Draw, and it is a 0 fucks coin. And look what's on the other side of it. How cool is that? So nothing Joe related, but it's quirky, and I like quirky. So shout out to Dads for this. This will stay in this room. It's very cool. I might even keep it in my wallet, but I run the risk of losing it if it's in my wallet. So yeah, nice little memento. Made me laugh when you gave it to me. Speaking of that word, I was also given this by the bartender at the hotel in Augusta. And it was from his jar of fucks to give. So a couple of us got these. Yes, it is what it is. It says what it says. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. There you go. If I turn it around this way, it probably will read better, wouldn't it, Adam? Yes, it would. Fuckhead. Anyway, so just cool little trinkets like that, man. You know, I like that sort of stuff. So yeah, other than that, I didn't really buy much. This was never going to be a massive shopping trip for me. I had money to buy stuff, but I'm also conscious of what I'm bringing back, and I'm also conscious of having stuff. You know, I was never just going to buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. That's a trap at these conventions. You know, you just go, "Oh my god, toys!" Like you got to have some self-control. And, you know, you've got to remember that you can get a lot of this stuff back home or online. So unless it had some sort of special merit or was something that, you know, like Dan's books, for instance, like the only way I can get them is if I get him to mail those to me. So, you know, it was easy to buy some of those. And in hindsight, in retrospect, I probably should have bought more than I did. But, you know, again, before you've packed your suitcase, you're thinking, well, I don't want to get over the weight limit and can't shut the thing. I had heaps of room when it came time to packing. So I could have bought more stuff. I just didn't. Now, we left Augusta, and on the final day on Monday, we checked out. And Ronnie and I went back to Dallas before we headed home. We had a day or so to kill there, so we thought, why don't we go, have a look at some shops? So we did, and that was aided by meeting up with Matthew Matson. So shout out to Matthew if he's watching this. He graciously picked us up and drove us around, took us to this store and that store, and basically circumnavigated Dallas Fort Worth. We went to Buc-ee's. What an experience that was. Bought my wife some fudge, bought myself a t-shirt, which I don't have here actually, but I could go get it, but I won't. Bought some snacks, which I ate on the plane. Some of them I'm still eating. Those sour cherry lollies, Matthew, those are awesome. All the fudge is gone, by the way. Jerky. The jerky was great. I ate that on the flight. But yeah, Buc-ee's, man. What an experience. If you live in America and you've never been to a Buc-ee's, make that happen. I don't care how long the drive is. Just do it. Just do it. Trust me. But yeah, we went to a couple of stores. I didn't buy any toys, funnily enough. But I did buy some comics. Captain America. Another Mike Zeck book. Another Captain America book. This one, look at this cover. This cover's awesome. Another Cap book. And another Cap book. And I found the 2 silent issue Skybound books that had eluded me here. I don't know if they never came out here. I don't know what happened there, but they went in my pull list at my LCS, so I got them. And that was pretty much my last purchase of the trip. And that was it, folks. That was my haul. And for all it's worth, and as great as it is and cool to have, nothing will top the memories that I take away from that trip. The conversations that I had, just getting to hang out with people, it just a whirlwind event that left me pretty battered and bruised from a flu standpoint, but so worth it. I remember when we came home, and I'm practically dying from this influenza A, and got up one night, and my wife came into the bathroom, and she's like, "So, was it worth it in terms of getting sick and whatnot?" I go, without batting an eyelid, I turned to her and I said, "Absolutely." Now, on that note, folks, I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. If I can impart one piece of wisdom on you before I leave, that is, if you're thinking about going to JoeFest and you've never done it, just do it. You won't be disappointed. You will definitely appreciate the experience, and you can thank me later. Anyway, so I'm going to hit the end stream button, and that's a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching. Give it a like if you like. If you're new to the channel and you're just finding it for the first time, hit the sub button. If you like classified stuff, you're going to like the challenge. Challenge? Speaking is a challenge, apparently. You're going to like this channel. All right, that's a wrap.